Picture a lake so beautiful, it feels like it was pulled from a dream. We are talking crystal clear water that perfectly mirrors the sky. We are on an epic quest to reach Sangestar Tso, a jewel tucked away in the remote Tawang district of Arunachal Pradesh. We want to see its raw beauty for ourselves, understand its sacred beginnings, and uncover the surprising Bollywood story that gave it its famous nickname. This is a journey to a place that's incredibly difficult to reach and impossible to forget. Next story will tell you more.
Our adventure starts in Tawang, a town that feels like it's perched on top of the world, sitting at about 10,000 feet. Tawang itself is a major destination, home to India's largest monastery and the heartland of the Monpa people, a community with deep roots in Tibetan Buddhism. You see their prayer flags everywhere, fluttering on every hillside and sending blessings into the wind. This is a land of deep spiritual importance, and somewhere deep within this land, even higher in the mountains, is our goal, Sangestar Tso. But here's the thing, you can't just wake up and decide to go. Because it's so close to the sensitive Indo-China border, the whole area is under the careful watch of the Indian Army. To even try to make this trip, you need permits, a lot of them. First, you need an inner line permit just to enter Arunachal Pradesh. Then, you need a special area permit that has to be cleared by both the local government and the army base in Tawang. These permits aren't just red tape. They're a serious reminder that you're heading into a strategically critical and unforgiving part of the world. We heard plenty of stories about travelers being turned back because of bad weather, road closures, or just not having the right stamp on their papers. The challenge isn't just the physical terrain. It's a logistical puzzle, where Mother Nature and national security hold all the cards. It's the kind of place whispered about among travelers, a dream for many, but a reality for the stubborn few who are willing to earn it. The moment you leave the relative comfort of Tawang, the pavement just disappears. The road, and I'm using that term very loosely, turns into a treacherous track of gravel, mud, and sharp rocks. Our SUV, a beast that has clearly seen its share of mountain abuse, lurches and groans with every single meter we climb. This isn't a road trip, it's a full-body workout, a bone-rattling symphony played by the mountains themselves. The route is a dizzying maze of more than 50 hairpin bends, and each one seems to get narrower and more precarious. There are no guardrails. On one side, you have a sheer rock face. On the other, a straight drop into the valley that would make any mistake your last. With every turn, the altitude keeps climbing. You feel it in your lungs first. The air gets sharp, cold, and noticeably thinner. Every breath is a conscious effort. Simple things like hopping out of the car for a photo leave you gasping with your heart pounding in your chest. Altitude sickness is the silent passenger on this trip, and you have to respect it. But for all the hardship, you're rewarded with moments of pure, unfiltered beauty. We passed smaller, unnamed alpine lakes, their water a shocking shade of turquoise against the barren landscape. Waterfalls fed by melting glaciers cascaded down the mountainsides. The views just stretch on forever, across valleys and peaks that seem endless. And then there are the army checkpoints. These aren't just toll booths. They're fortified posts manned by soldiers who live here for months at a time, battling isolation and extreme weather. They check our papers with serious professional faces. Seeing them living and working in such a harsh place is genuinely humbling. It adds a certain weight to the journey. You realize you're not just a tourist on an adventure. You're a guest in a highly protected border zone, witnessing the quiet strength that guards these frontiers. I'll be honest, there were moments of doubt. We hit a patch of road that had been washed out by a landslide. Clouds rolled in out of nowhere, threatening snow even though it was visiting season. We saw other cars struggling, and the thought of just turning back definitely crossed our minds. The mountain really tests you. It asks you if you truly deserve to be there. If you're finding this journey into one of India's most remote corners as intense as we are, and you want to see more adventures that go way off the beaten path, think about subscribing. Your support is what makes trips like this one possible. After hours that felt like an eternity, the landscape started to shift. The narrow, winding track finally opened up into a wider valley. Our driver pointed ahead, and there it was, Sangestar Tso. The second you see it, all the exhaustion, the breathlessness, the hours of being shaken around, it all just vanishes. The lake is vast, perfectly calm, and completely surreal. It sits in a natural bowl, cradled by rugged mountains, lightly dusted with snow. The water is so still and so clear that it creates a flawless, glassy reflection of the sky. But what really makes this place feel like another world are the trees. Dozens of dead tree trunks stand perfectly straight in the middle of the lake, their bare skeletal branches reaching up to the sky. They look like silent guardians of a lost world. This haunting scenery has a dramatic backstory. Before 1950, the lake we're looking at didn't even exist. This whole area was a grassy pasture where yaks would graze. Then, a massive earthquake shook these mountains, triggering a catastrophic landslide. An entire mountainside came crashing down, blocking the river and creating a natural dam. The valley flooded, and the forest that once stood here was swallowed by the rising water. The trees died, but the cold alpine water preserved them. So what we're looking at isn't just a lake, it's a beautiful scar left by the raw power of the earth. Walking along its edge, the only sounds you hear are the wind and the gentle lapping of water against the shore. There's a small cafeteria run by the army where you can grab a hot cup of tea and some Maggi noodles. A simple pleasure that feels like the peak of luxury at over 12,000 feet. It's a moment for quiet reflection. As we sat there, just soaking it all in, it was hard to connect this serene, sacred place with the glitz and glamour of Bollywood. But there is a connection, and it's a reason most of India knows this lake by a totally different name. Its original and official name is Sangestar Tso, but its popular identity was born in the mid-1990s. A film crew came all the way out here to shoot a song for the movie Koila, starring two of Bollywood's biggest legends, Shah Rukh and Madhuri Dixit. In the film, Madhuri Dixit dances on the banks of this exact lake, and the stunning otherworldly scenery captivated audiences across the country. After the movie came out, the lake's fame exploded. Locals and tourists, charmed by the film and the actress, started calling it Madhuri Lake. And the name just stuck. It's a wild example of how pop culture can completely rename a landmark that's been there for decades. For the local Monpa people, however, the name has always been and will always be Sangestar Tso. To them, its significance is far older and deeper than any movie. They consider the lake to be sacred, a place of immense spiritual power. It's common to see Buddhist lamas praying on its shores, and for pilgrims, walking around the entire lake clockwise is an act of deep reverence. So while the name Madhuri Lake put this destination on the map for thousands of people, its soul is still tied to the ancient traditions of the Monpa and the raw spiritual energy of the Himalayas. Our journey to Sangestar Tso was so much more than a trip to a beautiful spot. It was a test of endurance, a lesson in humility, and a deep dive into a world where nature, spirituality, and modern history crash into each other in the most unexpected ways. The lake is a perfect paradox, a landscape born from violent destruction that now offers an incredible sense of peace, a sacred site that also happens to carry a glamorous movie star nickname. It just goes to show that sometimes the most beautiful places really are the hardest to get to, and their beauty feels even greater because of the struggle it took to see them. This is India's dream lake, a place that is absolutely worth the incredible challenge.